Hey, welcome to a new video series on PHP. So I'm excited to share this series where we start with some static HTML pages and we write all the PHP code that we need to develop a dynamic website. Let's take a brief moment and look at where we land. So at a high level, we have a photo gallery where we can select a picture and then we can come in and add a review. So if I want to add a new review, another 4-star review, let's say Jake and nice black lab or whatever it is, submit the review so we can get the review submitted. Then that review will be added to the end. All of the summary data about that photo is shown. If you have an account, you'll be able to upload photos. So I can't upload right here, but I can log in. And then once I'm logged in, I can now upload my own photos, which will then show up here on the main page where other people can then rate your photo. And of course, if you own this photo, then you can always remove it. There is a static about page. It just describes the site, and then we can always log out. So that's a quick tour of where we're gonna land. Now let's talk about the process. First of all, I am sharing all of this code on my GitHub repo. It's at rcraven/ratethispic. Words are separated by underscores. I have a bunch of tags in here. So every single tag represents an incremental step towards starting with our static HTML file. So this is where we start at. And I have just 3 static files and a little bit of a script. So that's our starting point. We'll talk about those. And then incrementally through every single step, we'll end up here at the very end where we've added a little bit of blade syntax. So the number one rule on this adventure is we're going to write all our own PHP code, which means that we're not going to use any external libraries. So we're not going to pull in any frameworks using Composer or anything like that. If there's PHP code involved, it's going to end up in our application. And so you can see, for example, at the high level, there's an application directory and it has a bunch of code in it, which includes code for a mini framework. And this framework, while it's not as complete as something like Laravel, will be very familiar to you if you have ever used Laravel. But starting from scratch, we can develop this our way, and you'll start to see how frameworks like Laravel evolve into what they are today. So in the end, we end up with a route table where we can define our own routes. We have controllers where we can handle most of the logic, and we have views where the markup for our pages are going, which includes the concept of a layout, so that we're not repeating code in all of our pages. And this framework also supports the concept of database migrations and seeding. And we'll explore those features as we get to that part in the series. When we're done, we're gonna have this mini little framework that's easy to use. It's easy to add a new route, create new database models, and to create controllers and views. Along the way, we're gonna learn a lot of best practices. We're gonna keep our code clean, we're gonna keep it secure, maintainable, and we're gonna keep the developer experience. When I wanna add a new page, we're gonna keep that easy to use. So my goal is to take this starting point, incrementally in every video, make some changes, and then I'll tag it. All of the code is already online, but every video we incrementally take steps towards our end point. Although if you were a beginner and never seen any PHP before, you could probably catch on to this. I would recommend that you have a little bit of experience with PHP. And for that, we have 2 courses here on TechCast. You can dive into the 13 videos we have for PHP for beginners. And in addition, I would recommend that you understand object-oriented programming. And there's 17 videos on object-oriented programming in PHP. So with that said, our next video, we're going to get your development environment set up and we're going to get going.